Hi, in today's video I'll talk about autistic meltdowns, their characteristics, and what factors can trigger them. But first, what exactly is an autistic meltdown? An autistic meltdown, also known as an autistic shutdown, is a response to overwhelming sensory, emotional, or cognitive stimuli experienced by individuals on the autism spectrum. It is important to note that while meltdowns are commonly associated with autism, they can also occur in individuals without autism who experience similar overwhelming situations. Autistic meltdown can lead to a temporary loss of control and is typically triggered by a combination of factors that vary from person to person. So, now that you know what autistic meltdown is, let's talk about its characteristics. First, emotional distress. Individuals may experience heightened levels of anxiety, frustration, fear, or anger during a meltdown. These emotions can be overwhelming and may manifest through cry, screaming, or self-injurious behaviors. Second, sensory overload. People with autism often have sensory processing differences, which means they may be hypersensitive or hyposensitive to sensory stimuli. During a meltdown, the individual may become overwhelmed by sensory inputs such as loud noises, bright lights, strong smells, or tactile sensations. Third, communication difficulties. Autistic individuals may struggle to effectively communicate their needs and emotions, particularly during times of extreme stress. This can further intensify their frustration and escalate the intensity of the meltdown. Fourth and last, loss of self-control. A meltdown is characterized by a loss of self-regulation, making it difficult for the individuals to manage their emotions, behaviors, or reactions. This can lead to repetitive or stereotyped behaviors, aggressions, or self-injury. Now, let's look at neurological and psychological factors of an autistic meltdown. Those are, first, sensory processing differences. Studies have shown that individuals with autism often have atypical sensory processing, which can result in a different response to sensory stimuli. For example, functional magnetic resonance imaging studies have demonstrated differences in brain activation patterns in response to sensory input in autistic individuals. Second, emotional regulation difficulties. Autism is associated with challenges in emotional regulation. Research has suggested that individuals on the autism spectrum may have a typical neural connectivity and activation in brain regions involved in emotional processing and regulation, such as amygdala and prefrontal cortex. Third and last, hyperarousal and hypoarousal. Autistic individuals may experience either hyperarousal, heightened sensitivity and response, or hyperarousal, reduced sensitivity and response to sensory stimuli. Both states can contribute to meltdowns, as hyperarousal can lead to sensory overload, while hypoarousal can result in an inability to respond adaptively to environmental demands. To add here, the environmental triggers are another important factor that we need to look at and take in consideration. Autistic meltdowns are often triggered by overwhelming environmental factors, including sensory stimuli, Bright lights, loud noises, crowded spaces, strong smells, or certain texture can overload the sensory system and contribute to a meltdown. Changes in routine. Individuals on the autism spectrum often rely on predictability and routine. Disruptions to familiar routines or unexpected changes can lead to increased stress and anxiety, potentially triggering a meltdown. And last, social demands. Social interaction can be challenging for individuals with autism, particularly in situations requiring intense social engagement or understanding nonverbal cues. The stress of social demands can accumulate and result in a meltdown. It is crucial to approach each autistic individual as individual with their own unique triggers and coping mechanisms. Understanding and respecting their specific needs and sensitivities, providing appropriate support and accommodations, and creating a calming and predictable environment can help minimize the frequency and intensity of meltdowns. I hope this video provided you with a clear answer on what autistic meltdowns are, their characteristics, and what factors can trigger them. If you have any questions, make sure you type them in the comments below. Also, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe, as I will share important information about autism in my weekly videos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.